Hello there, you are watching Digital Trends coverage of CES. This is day 3 happening live from Las Vegas. Hi there, I'm Maude Garret, and I tell you what, so much has been happening at CES, we needed a full 3 days, all day, to cover it all. You there are watching on either YouTube or Facebook, and thank you so much to the Digital Trends community for watching. You guys have been fantastic on YouTube, and letting me ask your questions directly to the people that we've been interviewing has been so much fun. If you haven't subscribed to YouTube yet, make sure you do that and follow us over on Facebook so that you don't miss a thing. Also, digitaltrends.com/CES is where all the information and all the stuff being displayed at CES has been compiled. So, so much stuff to check out. That's where you want to go. I've got fresh meat here at the table to talk all about computing. I want to introduce Luke Larsen, the Associate Editor of Computing from Digital Trends. Hey Luke.
Hello.
This has been your first CES or your first CES for DT?
This is my first CES at all. So,
yes, same.
Yeah.
It's big, isn't it?
It's pretty exciting.
There's a lot
really
to cover. And you've been super busy doing a lot of meetings all day, but you've also managed to hit the showroom floor. Tell us about some of the things that you've done in your time here.
Looking at a lot of laptops. Laptops are always a big thing at CES, and this year there's just been a ton of them, and we're going to get to some of that later. But yeah, I've got to do a lot of hands-on with laptops, done videos, and written a lot of articles about what's new in laptops. And we've also seen some cool VR stuff, which I've done. But yeah, it's been really fun.
I love that VR. I'm more of an AR girl. I think VR is a pit stop to where AR is going to be, but that's my take on it, and I'm not the expert. That's Luke. If you want to catch all of his articles, digitaltrends.com/CES, but let's talk computing, and this is a huge one that we've got here. This is the one that I've been most excited about. We're talking to Frank Azor, who is the VP and GM of Alienware and XPS. Hey, Frank.
How you doing?
Well, apparently we have award-winning computers in front of us here. That's exciting. Talk to us about the XPS series that's launched this year for CES.
So, a couple years ago, about 3 years ago exactly, we came here and we kind of shocked and awed the entire world when we introduced the predecessor to this product right here, which is the XPS 13. So we're back this year with a brand new XPS 13. It's been designed completely from the ground up to be better by every single measurement as compared to the previous one. So thinner, up to 24% thinner than the previous XPS 13. Lighter in weight, smaller. We made those really narrow borders that we became famous for with the previous product. We made them even smaller, if you can imagine that was actually possible. And we didn't compromise anything on the product. Over 19 hours of battery life, and we increased the performance. So while most people are compromising performance to go smaller, we increased the performance on this thing.
I want to know how, like what technology are you using?
It's magic, I can't tell you.
Okay, that's fair.
So,
Magician?
what we actually did is, instead of having one fan, we put 2 fans in here. So it gave us almost double the amount of thermal capacity, and we doubled the heat pipes that we had in here. We had 1 before, we have 2 in here now, and the heat exchanger itself is about double the size. And then we took some really fancy exotic material called aerogel, and the company Gore, you may be familiar, they make clothing a lot. We took some Gore insulation material and put that into this product as well, and what that resulted in is a performance profile that's about 80% higher than just the XPS 13 we launched a few months ago. So it's pretty remarkable the amount of performance we've been able to cram into this thing.
That Gore technology, that's one of the things that was so interesting right away. How did that come to be? How did you discover the Gore technology as the thing?
Well, the analogy I use is kind of like a light bulb. Like the more performance we keep putting into these products, it's like that light bulb is going from 60 watts to 100 watts. It gets hotter and hotter and hotter. So you have to figure out ways to manage that heat. And one of the things is, of course, you exhaust the heat out of the notebook, which we do, and that's why we have the fans and the heat sinks and everything. But you still need to insulate that heat from being felt on the keyboard and when you use it and stuff, otherwise your hands are going to burn, So what we were looking for is a better insulator than air. That's not easy to find, but we happen to find this material. It hadn't been used in a PC application before, but it's known to be a better insulator than air. So by doing that, we were able to insulate the heat and prevent it from coming through the keyboard and coming through your lap, and all of it actually being directed and exhausted out the rear of the notebook much more efficiently.
You're right, it is magic.
It's magic science, it's a little bit of both.
Now Luke, the XPS 13 picked up a Digital Trends award. Can you talk me through why that happened? What was it about this machinery that was award-winning to you?
That's right. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Bella.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's a laptop that we've loved since you're talking about in 2015 when you first brought it here. We've loved this laptop ever since then. And It's pretty obvious why when you look at the design, like you're talking about those bezels. I like to think about when this product came out first, it really started that trend of every product needing to have no bezels on it, you know, even into smartphones and stuff like that. So that's a huge thing, and the fact that you're saying that they're even thinner this time, that's a huge, huge thing. So,
what do you think about the white? I mean, this is a brand new color for us, so we're really excited about it. It's a rose gold white combination. I personally love it.
Yeah. I've been wanting a return to white laptop, because nobody makes white laptops anymore, you know? And so it's nice to see, at least not in the kind of premium, nicer laptop. So awesome to see the white back. I really like that. So.
I have grubby fingers. I'm going to blame makeup for that, but for me, having, you know, that with a white keyboard, how easy is it to clean and maintain?
So we can actually show you a demo where we take a black permanent marker and we mark it up and we can rub it off with our fingers. So we put anti-smudge, anti-fingerprint coatings throughout all of the palm rest surface and the keyboard so that you can easily wipe away dirt and things that accumulate on it over time. And then we show it as bad as it could possibly get with a black permanent marker. Hopefully you won't do that, of course, but that's kind of worst case scenario. So it was designed for sloppy people just like you.
Thank you, I think. You said that you have improved every single part, and we talked about the physical improvements. You've been making it wider, lighter, but what are some of the internal improvements apart from the two fans, which I thought were sitting at the table here, but...
You got the cosmetic, you know, the color is an improvement, the thermals are an improvement. Like I said, we didn't compromise the battery life at all. You still get over 19 hours. We also improved the LCD display. It's so much more beautiful than the previous one, even though the previous one was also gorgeous. But now you have a 4K option. We increased the brightness to 400 nits, and you have 100% sRGB color gamut. So the colors that you're going to see on this LCD screen are just absolute best in class. It rivals what you'll find on the best OLED panels that are available out there.
I think Luke can attest to this. A lot of the trends at the moment in laptops is 2-in-1. You know, obviously, like there's the Snap tablet. Why did you want to continue with the Dell range and just focus on the quality of the actual computer, apart from like it being a gadget?
Well, for us with XPS, this is the absolute best of our product portfolio. So this is where we cut zero corners. We've got the most exotic materials, the absolute best performance, the fanciest components. We incubate a lot of these technologies 3, 4, and 5 years in advance to make it possible to put this into this product here today. So we're using real, aluminum that we mill out. It's a single piece of aluminum on the top cover here, on the bottom cover, and it gives you just a really solid feel on the product. Even though it's really thin, the tension of the strength of the product is astronomical considering how small this form factor is. But even the palm rest, like in the XPS 13 and the 15 that we offer today, the predecessor to this, we use carbon fiber, and we've become really famous for using carbon fiber in the product. And we use it because it's a natural material. You can see the carbon fiber finish. We don't paint it, and it's just beautiful, but it's also very strong, and it's a great thermal insulator. Well, when white, there's no such thing as white carbon fiber. So we had to go off and take a material that had never been used in PCs before and basically engineer it to be applicable for the palm rest area, because we didn't want to take carbon fiber and paint it white. That's just too easy, honestly. We got to keep it interesting. So what we did is we created a material called white woven, stay with me here, white woven crystalline fiber. It's basically 9 layers of different materials and fibers that stack up to give you this incredible finish, but it's an authentically white finish. There's no paint involved here. It's got UV resistance, it's got your anti-fingerprint and smudge resistance, all that stuff built into this material, and it's got similar strength properties to the carbon fiber. So it's kind of like a rocket ship here, this amazing system with some cutting edge materials that have never been used in PCs before. We're really excited about that.
With this slimline design, it does beg the question. You're saying that you've done there's a lot of durability and it's a strong computer, but what kind of durability tests have you done?
Well, that's a long conversation, but
okay.
A lot. I mean, Dell products are very well known for being high quality and reliable products. And when it comes to the XPS products, we use the absolute highest quality specifications because that's what our customers expect. Look, if you buy a product at a notebook for $199 versus one that is $899, you expect a different experience. You should expect a different experience. So what you'll find here is, you have customers that I've bought the XPS 13 3 years ago and they're still using it today. Their batteries still work, they're still getting great battery life out of it. So all of that engineering, all of that quality has gone into this product. From the materials to the hinge tests, over millions of hinge tests, to the keyboard. We press these keyboards millions of times, the keys, to ensure that they're going to last you almost forever. So all of that quality engineering is going into these products.
Speaking of keyboards, I want to get to this one because it has a new keyboard, a completely designed one. Yeah, this is the 15 2-in-1.
Yep.
So can you tell me about the maglev keyboard on this?
Yeah, really, really cool cutting edge keyboard design. So the keyboard is one of those components that you're using along with your LCD the most when it comes to a notebook. It's your keyboard and your LCD, that's 100% of the time you're pretty much using, and a little bit of your touchpad. So we don't want to cut corners when it comes to those things. A lot of companies have in order to get a thinner profile. So we wanted to do something that was going to preserve the feel of a larger keyboard with the comfort of a larger keyboard, but allowed us to get to a thinner profile. If you look at this XPS 15 2-in-1, it's the world's smallest 15.6-inch 2-in-1. It's amazingly thin, it's amazingly small. So what we did is we looked at new technologies to be able to give you that comfortable keyboard, but be able to give us a thinner profile. And what we came across were actually magnets. So maglev technology that's been used in trains, for example, to levitate trains, we're using a similar technology to that to levitate these keys off of the keyboard. So then when you press them, you get a clicky feel, you get a clicky feedback like you would expect from almost a mechanical switch keyboard, but it's very, very comfortable and it feels really, really good.
This all sounds very expensive. This kind of technology that you're saying is top of the range. No, it sounds like there's no expense spared. That's what they said about Jurassic Park as well. But what price points are we talking here?
So the brand new XPS 13, I don't like the Jurassic Park comparison. The new XPS 13 is $899 in the US. Wow. And the XPS 15 2-in-1, we're announcing it here at the show. We'll be actually launching it at the end of March for sale, and it'll be available for $1299. Hopefully they'll both have a much better fate than Jurassic Park. But that was a great movie.
Yeah, sorry, just Richard Attenborough popped into my head as soon as I said that. Noah Samuel here, obviously we are live, we are broadcasting around the world. He's chimed in with a question, is the webcam full HD?
Yes, the webcam is full HD. The webcam's actually on the bottom of the notebooks, you'll notice. So on the clamshell, on the notebook we should say, what we call clamshells, for some folks it may not be in the right location. If you use your camera a ton and you're heavily dependent on it, maybe this isn't the right product for you. If you use your webcam occasionally, then cool, you've got a great Windows Hello webcam here. You can use that to log into your machine with facial recognition, or you have a fingerprint sensor. On the 2-in-1s, you kind of actually have an advantage. Even though the camera's down here on the bottom, because it's a 2-in-1, you can just flip it over if you're doing a conference call or something, and of course it flips over as well. Now you have your camera on the top. So that 2-in-1 form factor gives us a little bit more flexibility, which is nice.
So when we're talking, so this isn't similar to this though, because it has a discrete graphics card, right?
Yeah, so what's really revolutionary about this product, aside from it being so small and using the maglev keyboard, we partnered with Intel and AMD. People look at me like I'm crazy.
I know, we had a chat with AMD about that actually. Yeah.
And they worked together on taking their quad-core high-performance HCPU and the Vega graphics chip and fusing that into a single silicon chip, basically. Well, it's actually all three chips, but they're all kind of fused together into one package. That allowed us to reduce the motherboard size about 30% as compared to the notebook version of this product. And as a result, what we were able to do is, of course, shrink the dimensions, which is why you have such a beautifully thin product over here. We actually have a smaller borders around the XPS 15 2-in-1 than we have around the XPS 15 notebook, which allowed us to do that as well, because as the borders shrink, the notebook shrinks. And we were still able to put a big battery in here. Because that motherboard shrank so small, we didn't have to eat up a lot of that space or eat into the battery space. So you have a 75 watt-hour battery in here. We get over 15 hours of battery life with the full high-definition screen.
With the, so you're talking about the discrete graphics card from AMD. So what kind of gaming performance can people expect out of that?
So we haven't fully finished testing all the performance. That's why the product's not going to be shipping until the March timeframe. But you can expect performance to be very, very good for playing pretty much every game that's out there. Some people have asked me for a comparison to like an NVIDIA graphics card. We're expecting the performance to come in somewhere around a 1050 to a 1050 Ti in terms of performance. So it's very compelling. Again, look at this form factor. It's remarkably small for the level of performance you have in here. And this is not a U CPU. This is not a Ultrabook CPU. This is a full-blown 45 watt H quad-core CPU in here. So there's really no compromise in your experience.
Question that I like to ask is, you were mentioning that if people like to be on camera and use their camera a lot, maybe not for them. Gaming, we're still testing. Who is your ideal person? Who do you see using this product?
Look, Honestly, me. Today I travel, and I'll give you a little secret as to why I do it. I travel with an XPS 15 notebook because I like the large screen, I like the battery life, and that's what I work and I play on. I play a lot of Overwatch when I'm on the road.
Oh, sorry, who do you play on Overwatch?
I don't like to admit that because people laugh at me, but I do play a lot with Torb. I like to torture people with the sentry guns. But
Messy main.
and then I also travel with an XPS 13 2-in-1, which is the 2-in-1 version of this product. And the reason I do it is because I fly a lot. And if you fly a lot, you know that during takeoff and landing, they don't allow notebooks, but they allow tablets. So I flip over my 2-in-1 and I get away with watching movies while I'm taking off and I'm landing. Instead of having to carry these two products now, I'm going to be able to combine them into one, and I save about 2.5 pounds out of my bag now. So besides me, we didn't just build it for me. I should talk about. So the other applications for this that we think are really interesting is, look, we have full pen support. This is an amazing pen that has pressure sensitivity. It's very, very accurate. It works perfectly with this product. We're using Webcam technology in here, so it's the best you can get out there. So if you're an artist, if you're a designer, if you're somebody who's doing photography, if you're doing video rendering, you're doing your own digital videos, and you need some horsepower, but you also want some mobility and portability, here's a great product for you. Now let's say you've created your content, right, and you're meeting with your customers, you want to show it with them, you want to review the art and everything. It's like having a tablet to do it, and it's a little bit more of a personal experience. We can bring it up closer to our face, we can go through the images, we can mark up everything that we want to review as well, we can make changes to it with the pen, and it's just an easier experience and a much more comfortable experience than trying to do it like you would maybe on a notebook, you know, and with a touchpad. So it's a new category. It's a product that we really cut zero corners on. It's an experimental category for us as well. This is the first 15-inch 2-in-1 that we ever build in XPS, but the reception at CES has been phenomenal. Honestly, it's exceeded our expectations. So we think this product's going to do really well.
So what about the 13? So this is for maybe someone who wants to game on the go and also maybe a couple other applications, but what about maybe that's more obvious, but what about the 13?
Yeah, we find all types of different people using the XPS 13. A lot of folks that travel a lot where mobility is extremely important. Every pound, every fraction of a pound matters. But at the same time, they want a product that's going to last them 3 or 5 years. They don't want something that's compromised performance and then they have to change it every 1 or 2 years. So they want something that's going to be high performance, it's going to be highly mobile, and it's going to have great battery life. You can find products that are thinner, but they do it at the expense of performance or the expense of battery life. You can find products that have more performance, but then their battery life isn't as superior. The great thing about the XPS 13 is that it's the best balance of all three of those things. Plus you get an LCD that's best in class. It rivals OLED screens. So there's no corners cut here. If you want the absolute best PC you can get, this is going to be your option.
Luke agrees with you.
We agree, yeah.
Yeah. One last question that I have. I noticed that a growing trend when it comes to evolving laptops and a lot of products here is that the ports are disappearing one by one and accessories are growing more and more. What's happening with Dells? What can we expect with this?
Yeah, you know, it's not my favorite part of the product, honestly. I wish we did have a USB-A port in here, the more traditional USB port. But unfortunately, we're just getting to the point where they're so thin you can't even fit them. I mean, yeah. This is a USB-C port, and you can see that there's not much trim area above and below it. So we can't actually physically fit a USB-A port on these two products. So what we do is we bundle a USB-C to USB-A adapter with both of them. So you at least have that ready to go. You don't have to go and receive your notebook, find out that you can't plug something into it, and then have to go buy an adapter for $20, $30, or $40. We think that's really frustrating. So everyone gets one free inside the box when you get the machine.
Oh.
The other thing is we have adapters and dongles and things. We have a really cool product that connects to the USB-C port. It's about $49 or so that we do sell at Dell. And it gives you a USB-A port connection. It gives you an Ethernet connection as well. So if you want to use an RJ40, an Ethernet cable with an RJ45, and you even get that old, ancient VGA connection as well. So if you go into a conference room or something that's got one of those old projectors or everything, you kind of got everything covered for you there.
It has micro SD, right?
It does have micro SD on both of them, yeah, absolutely. That dongle also, I forgot, has HDMI as well. So you kind of got everything covered, old, new, with that $49 adapter that we sell.
Fantastic. Well, I really appreciate you stopping by Digital Trends to talk to us about the award-winning XPS 13 and the Dell XPS 15. Both of those, they were covered, and I believe you did your own reviews on those. digitaltrends.com/CES if you want to catch up with those. And the direct links have been put into the chat. Just check out Digital Trends chat in there as well. They make it very, very easy for you to learn up about these products on the go. We do provide immediate information here, which is what I'm a big fan of for CES and Digital Trends. We've got a lot more coming as well, so please don't go anywhere. It's been lovely to have you.